Look at those beauties up there. Yep, you guessed it, pine cones. And today, I'm going to share with you how to harvest pine nuts. I love pine nuts. Yeah, I'm being a little dramatic. I do that sometimes. So these are foothill pine, also called gray pine. They grow in the lowest elevations possible. So you'll see them as a conifer. They'll start popping up at 200-300 feet of elevation, and they'll go all the way up to about 2,000 the most. This old roadbed is loaded with cones that are just naturally falling on the roadbed, so it makes for easy harvesting. Pine cones everywhere. And you'll need to learn how to, with the trained eye, you'll learn which cones are fresh from this year. Like these are all old. They have a lot of, the pitch is all dry and crystallized. They're kind of oxidized on the exterior surface. They're all white. A lot of them are even rotting. But what you'll want to look for are these beautiful brown cones, the fresh ones. And you'll tell because the gray squirrels love them too. And somehow they know which ones have the nuts in them. Look at this. They're just gorging on these pine nuts, and these are perfect cones. Tools to harvest pine nuts: you're going to need a good pair of leather gloves, which I don't have. These are covered with sap, and those cones have some sharp points on them. So without leather gloves, yeah, it's a little rough, but with them you can be rough. And then a good pair of boots, because you're going to stomp on them. This is how you do it, in the field. That way you just take the nuts home with you, and you don't have to take a ton of space with these sticky pine cones. And as you can see, I've done this scene a few times, and my camera keeps falling off the tree. So hopefully we can get it this time. I should use some of the sap from those cones to make it stick to the branch. After you harvest pine nuts for a while, you'll know why they're so expensive in the store. So what I like to do is you'll take your pine cone and you'll just gently throw it down and just rotate it. I'm spinning it each time. And you're knocking the nuts out. I feel like Yule Gibbons. After you knock the nuts out with the gentle method, now you're going to use those boots of yours. Give it a good stomp. Rotate it. Give it a good stomp. Oh, there's pine nuts flying out of this one. Give it a good stomp. And now you can sort through and start picking up all the pine nuts that have fallen out. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. So you could tell if you did spend a few minutes working on this, you could get a pretty good bag of just the nuts. They have a really thick shell. I've got a whole handful of them here. These flies are in my face. When you crack them, little trick, hold the skinny end and whack the fat end. That way you can pull it out. If you just hold it and hit it any random way, the skinny end falls off and you can't pull the fat end out of the skinny hole. So you end up breaking it in a bunch of pieces. And it helps to have like a little toothpick or something with you. So you just give it a little tap on the fat end. You'll hear it crack. Oh, beautiful. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous white meated nut. You can see that. I could eat a cup of these things, no problem. Key ingredient in pesto. You can throw them in salads. If you want to bring out the flavor, throw them in a dry pan over the stove and just shake them around over a medium heat for a few minutes. It kind of toasts them, brings out the flavor. Pine nuts are a great thing to harvest this time of year. They're available starting now all through the middle of winter, but the later you go, the more the squirrels are going to get them. So go harvest some pine nuts today.